How's it going? I'm Joe Worley.
I'm Adam Marr.
And we're here with...
And I'm Mike Buddie.
He's Mike Buddie. And so we're here at the 125th Army-Navy game. I served as a Navy corpsman with 2-1 Marines, and I absolutely loved it. I had a blast, literally.
And I was a Apache helicopter pilot for 10 years.
Awesome.
Now I work in veteran mental health and also get to co-host the podcast.
And we'd love to hear a little bit about what you went through. I'm guessing you weren't Navy.
I was not Navy, and I never served a day in my life. So thank you both for your service. And people usually look at me like, seriously, you're the athletic director of the Army and you're not in the Army? That was my first take when they called about the job. I was like, hey, I don't know the difference between a captain and a general.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't need that. Everybody else knows that. We need somebody to help us hire coaches and create a Division I department within West Point, which is a challenge. But it's been the most rewarding gig I've ever had.
Well, you can't keep your knees if you're in the military into your 40s, so they had to pull some outside talent in.
That's right. Maybe it's that.
Maybe that's it too.
But Mike, you do know something about sports. So you've been 6 years athletic director at West Point, but it didn't start there. It actually started with maybe a team that some people have heard of, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, back when they were good.
How do you spell that?
It's capital Y. Yeah, I've been very blessed. I mean, I've had two pretty awesome careers, totally separate from each other. Right? I got the opportunity to be a professional baseball player. I made it to the major leagues, 2 years with the Yankees, 3 years with the Brew Crew out in Milwaukee. And then I had Tommy John surgery. My career was over. Much like when guys retire from the service, you're like, all right, well, what's next, right? I didn't have $1 million contract. I had to get a gig and got into college athletics back at my alma mater, Wake Forest. Did that for 10 years before getting my first AD job. And it's just been a really good fit, really rewarding industry to be in, even with the challenges that are facing college athletics today.
Yeah.
To be at Army or at Navy or Air Force, we're able to still kind of stay true to who we are as an institution, which is rewarding.
And I think it's kind of tough also, but because the compensation rules and things like that have changed, it's harder to find talent in the military than ever. And so when you have teams that can step up and really still be competitive, it shows that there's a lot of heart and a lot of work. And I think that comes from the top.
Well, we say it's easy to assemble a team, and that's what colleges are doing. They're assembling teams. What our institutions are doing, we're building teams.
Yeah.
So we may not have the same level as talent if you look at bench press, 40-yard dash, but we have cohesion, we have discipline, and we have love, and all those things that you get in a unit, or that. If you're playing because you don't want to let the guys down to your right and left, like that's hard to do, and it's hard to get if you're reassembling a new roster every 10 to 12 months, like some of the schools are having to do.
Getting to play as a professional, but then also coming up, collegiate as well, and then your time as athletic director at the collegiate level. What is it that you like about collegiate that appeals to you?
Well, 2 years ago, I would have said they're doing it because they love it. They're doing it for an education. They're not getting paid.
That's fine.
And so I feel very fortunate to be at West Point, where our kids aren't getting paid for being athletes. They're getting paid as federal workers, technically.
Right.
But they're doing it because they love it. And you would think when the transfer portal became a reality that, our best athletes every year were going to jump ship. And it turns out they're still choosing West Point for the right reasons. They're still going to Annapolis for the right reasons. They want to serve their country. They want to get that education. They want to be a part of that brotherhood or sisterhood. It's going to serve them, open doors for them for the rest of their lives, and not leaving to go get $20,000 of NIL money at a different school that doesn't have that type of postgraduate opportunity.
You highlighted a lot of some of the differences there, but talk more specifically about athletics at West Point. And we even had Captain Sullivan who got to come in here, Olympic medalist for the rugby team.
Yeah.
So producing Olympic medalists, but also the leaders that are helping to protect the free nation. It's quite a spread there.
It is, and our country's not in a great place right now, right? And so what I love about my job is I have this small impact on a subset of the population who have already volunteered and shown that they want to be part of the solution. And so what we try to do is provide them every opportunity to express themselves, to grow, to learn, to make bad decisions, and then learn how to make good decisions, so that when they're in these positions of power, when they're getting Olympic medals, that they're representing the academy, they're representing the good parts of what this country is, and that in and of itself is just the most rewarding part of my job.
I love that, and I'll be honest with you. You know, getting to be here and feel the energy of this is something that anytime I come up into a situation where I'm exposed to something new, I get so excited. I want to be a part of it, and you know, so we're going to need you to back us up so that we can do this again next year, because you know, this is one of those things that I have a distinct feeling that I'm going to want to be here for the rest of these games as long as I can handle it.
Well, it's a good point. Mike, maybe you can talk a little bit about the 125th meeting, America's game. It's my first time coming. It's Joe's first time. We, of course, know all about it. We've seen it. We've watched it deployed. And now getting to be here and experience it is quite remarkable. What does it mean to West Point? What does it mean to those that are wearing the uniform?
Yeah, so 1.1 million men and women represent the United States Army. They watch this game, right? It's 12 months of bragging rights or, you know, losing bets. And so, you know, the kids on the field, you know, they do all the talking with their discipline and their fitness. But it's important. It's important to those in the Navy and those in the Army. It's just it's the most unique game. I'm glad that we're both going to get the opportunity to do it together. It's a long day. The conversations, seeing people that deployed together 30 years ago and they haven't seen each other since, and they run into each other in the concourse, which happens all the time. It's just the most unique rivalry that there is, and maybe even better, this specific one is two really good football teams.
It really is.
19 wins combined between the two. Navy's had a phenomenal year. You know, somewhat overshadowed by just the incredible 11-1 that we've had, but 8-3 as an academy is a phenomenal year.
It's incredible. And I had an uncle that said, if you're going to play the game, you might as well play it with style. Navy and Army are going to be walking out in style. What do you think about the Army's uniform?
I love it, right? To be able to tell the story of the Battle of the Bulge, you know, the Bastogne, and you know, Navy having the Jolly Roger. What I love about what we've been able to do is utilizing the platform at Radio Row tomorrow with 7, 8, 9 million viewers to tell the stories of the men and women who represented these units, these battles, whatever it might be. We involve our history department. Like, we want to tell these stories. So we're using football as a vehicle to get people to appreciate those who have served in the sacrifices.
Well done. Thank you for all that you do to help guide these young men and women. Last question. What's your prediction for the game tomorrow? How many touchdowns will Army beat Navy by?
I don't make predictions. 35-10.
That's right. 35.
So
that is fact.
What do you think? What do you think the Navy's going to have to bring? What do you think the Navy's going to have to bring to the table to really? I'm doing intel.
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
What do you think they're going to have to bring to the table? What do you think is something that could really be a problem?
Well, Blake Horvath's a problem. He's an exceptional talent. You know, hopefully he's healthy and ready to go. I believe he is. He's a phenomenal kid, and they're a different team when he's running that offense. Although his backup really played well the second half of his last game. So
step up is big in the military.
Yeah, honestly, whichever team takes care of the football and executes their plan. And here's the beauty of this game: they know what our plan is, and we know what their plan is.
Yeah.
So you've got to be somewhat conservative, but you also got to be able to take some risks. And if you can take some risks without turning the ball over or letting up a big play, then that usually can shift this game one way or the other. So it's going to be great.
Outstanding. It means the world that you come and spend a little time with us here. We'd love you to sign our football, and while you're doing that, if you could just, if there's anything else that you wanted to add, anything that you wanted to say here, we'd love for you to share that with us now.
I've already thanked you both for your service. That's what this weekend is about, is showcasing men and women that are willing to do that.
Yeah.
As a civilian dude who went to college and I got this job, and my wife and I looked at each other and we said, hey, these kids are up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we said, you know what? We were up at 5:30 in the morning a lot, but we were kind of on our way back to our dorms for a long night out. Totally different.
That's right.
Totally
Getting
different.
up and staying up are two different situations.
But yeah, we appreciate all you guys do and have done, and thanks for having me on today.
Thank you so much for coming and making the time and sharing a little bit about all the great stuff you guys are up to. It's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Where can people go to learn more about the team?
GoArmySports.com.
All right.
Everything, not just our football team. We've got 30 sports all together. They're all exceptional people. I tell people the 3 hours that our volleyball players spend in the gym and in the weight room are just as important to them as the 3 hours the football team spends practicing.
Yeah.
They just don't get to do it in front of 50, 60,000 people. So it's really important to them, and they compete like you would expect a service person to compete. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike. We really appreciate it.
Great to meet you
so
both.
much. Yeah, likewise.
Yep, beat Navy.